Yeah, a lot of bait out here. A lot of bait.
All know me. Know how I earn a living.
20s to low to mid 30s.
Yeah, there you go. JP's on.
Really?
Yeah, JP's got one. Is it a fluke? It's a fluke. Good job, JP.
This first fluke ever.
Hey, is that your first fluke ever, JP?
Over all day.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Next Drift. On this episode, our very first fluke trip of 2024 is in the books. We went out today. I rushed home to make this video. We caught a ton of fish. The keepers really weren't there, but let me tell you something. I learned something and I want to share it with you. Make sure first you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, make a comment, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. This is one of those episodes that you're not going to want to miss. So let's get right into this. We were fishing in the Peconic Bay area, and Peconic Bay, that whole area near Greenport, all of that, Jessup's Point area, is well known for early season fishing. Fluke, porgy, weak fish, all that good stuff. In this particular trip, we were targeting fluke. And one of the things that I wanted to show you was yesterday was an amazing day because while we didn't catch any big ones, we caught numbers, and the fish had positioned themselves in a way that in about a quarter of a mile area, there was one specific section, probably 50-foot circle, that all the fish were really, really concentrated. And if you didn't make a very specific drift, you weren't going to catch them. It was pretty awesome to see how so many fish could just relate to a very specific piece of bottom. And we've talked about that in the past, the spot on the spot. This was a prime example of that. So on this map here, it kind of demonstrates the area. It's very similar to the area that we were fishing. And as you can see out in front of it, it's between 79 to 90 feet of water, and then it comes up on a big slope that's pretty steep into the 50s, and then it starts to come up again into the 30-foot range. And the fish we were catching yesterday were in 35 to 37 feet of water. That's 2 feet. If you made a drift in 40 feet, we weren't getting bit. If you made some drifts in the 20-foot or less range, you weren't getting bit. It was so predictable. As soon as you hit that 37-foot number on the sonar, you would get bit. So I want to kind of show you why and how we would position the boat and what the fish looked like on the bottom to really demonstrate this. So as you can see here, this is just kind of a graphic that gives you a really good depiction of the area we were fishing. We would pull out on the front of this little spot. You can see the drift direction, and out of a 200-foot area, which is the green circle, the majority of the fish were sitting in this little 20-foot patch, which is the red circle. And if you hit that every single time on your drift, one of us would get bit. It was like clockwork. It was pretty amazing. The fish were feeding on small grass shrimp, small anchovies. We ended up downsizing to gulp mullets. 2-inch, 3-inch. I had a 5-inch I got some bites on, but we downsized everything. Hindsight, if I was to go back there tomorrow, I would bring a spinning rod with a light jig and probably just a single jig with a mullet on it, and you probably mop the floor with them. They weren't big fish. They were, the 12 to 18, 19-inch range, but it's about the spot, and we've seen big fluke do this as well, and I really wanted to kind of point this out. A lot of times when you're fishing amongst a lot of boats, and there was probably a good 25 to 30 boats there yesterday, it's kind of hard to position yourself on such a small piece of water. But you can take this and apply it to all the other places that you fish. Even if you're not fishing for fluke, a lot of times stripers, sea bass, other types of game fish will do the same thing. There'll be a certain size group of fish that will congregate for whatever reason on a particular piece of bottom. And again, it's not to say that we didn't get any bites at all in that 42 to 42 foot range, and we even caught some fish in 25 feet or less in the beginning of the day. But as the tide turned and the bite picked up, if you did not hit this specific piece of water, you were not getting bit. And it was pretty awesome because Most of the boats didn't even know it was there. So here's another graphic just to kind of demonstrate what we were fishing yesterday. As you can see, you have the deeper water out in the middle. That's the channel, and then it would gradually come up in that red area to be the shallower section. And you can see that red circle with the highlight in the middle. That was a representation of the patch of water that was holding the fish. If you were to drift any of those other sections, yeah, you might be able to pick up a fish here or there. But I'm talking about when we would hit that circle, it was every single time. We could have fished that over and over and over and over again for as long as they were biting, and we would have caught them. Now, like I said, they weren't big fluke. It was all numbers. But the exact same thing happens every single trip, whether we're out at Montauk, Block, fishing in Long Island Sound. Same thing will happen down in New Jersey, or even down south for that matter. A lot of times there is a specific spot, the spot on the spot, where all of the fluke and flounder are going to congregate. This was pretty awesome, and this is a good representation of it. We would pull out just a little ways past it. We wouldn't go far, far away from the spot and then wait to drift. We were making very short drifts, maybe 50 feet, 60 feet at most. We would pull up, set the boat exactly where we needed to, drop our lines in, and then watch the fish finder, watch our GPS until we were just up close to those marks and anticipate the bite happening. This was pretty awesome how all of this worked out. I hope you found this information useful. This graphic right here is pretty indicative of how most of our fluke fishing trips are. We find the majority of fish are in the smallest areas of the bottom. Go back, take a look at some of our other videos. I'll post links up to them in the description and here at the end of this video. And take a peek at them. The Finding Fluke video is a really great presentation on exactly what we're doing to figure out what we kind of found yesterday. Just remember, take your time, be efficient. Don't be afraid to go and explore new water that you haven't fished before. Make sure you're putting marks in the GPS, even if they're small fish. A lot of times, it'll make a map for you live right there the day you're fishing, and it'll tell you exactly where the majority of fish are. Anyway, make sure you click that subscribe button. I really appreciate you watching. Take care. We're going to have a few videos coming up similar to this one that are going to be pretty good. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
I'm a lifestyle fisherman now.
You are.
Gonna get some Salt Life stickers. Now it's just an escape from children. I think that fishing has turned into an escape.
You've gotten old. Now you've gotten old.